They don't speak to just anyone, she admitted. If they whisper to you, it means they have something to show you. Jabari's pulse quickened. Should I follow them? Dia's jaw tightened. That depends. On what? He asked. On whether or not you're ready to face the truth. Jabari swallowed hard. Then he stood and followed the whispers into the night. The whispers led Jabari to a clearing bathed in silver moonlight. At its center stood a massive stone covered in glowing symbols. His breath caught. He had seen these markings before, on the amulet Elder Kofi had given him. Trembling, he stepped forward and placed his hand on the stone. A sudden surge of energy pulsed through him. His vision blurred. The world around him vanished, and when he opened his eyes, he was no longer in the jungle. He stood in a grand palace, its golden walls stretching high into the sky. A throne made of black stone and serpent bones sat at its center, and on that throne sat a king. Jabari's heart stopped. He recognized the man's face, because it was his own face. Not as he was now, but older, hardened, wearing a crown of gold and sorrow. The vision. Jabari turned to him, his eyes dark with regret. The curse is coming, young one. Jabari staggered back. What? What are you talking about? The king's gaze burned into his. Nyoka's fate is in your hands. Then darkness. Jabari gasped as the vision ended, his knees hitting the ground. His skin was damp with sweat, his heart racing. Dia was waiting when he returned to camp. Well, she asked, what did the spirits show you? Jabari hesitated. Then, softly, he whispered, they showed me myself. Dia's expression darkened. Then we don't have much time. The next morning, Dia woke Jabari before the sun had risen. We're leaving, she announced. Jabari sat up, still dazed from his vision. Leaving where? To find the one person who can tell you the truth about your past. Jabari frowned. Elder Kofi told me everything. Dia's smirk was grin. Elder Kofi told you what he thought was safe to say. Jabari narrowed his eyes. And who are we going to see? Dia's gaze sharpened. The Oracle of the Forgotten. The journey was treacherous. They crossed rivers infested with water spirits, climbed cliffs where the wind threatened to hurl them into the abyss. But finally, they reached their destination, a ruined temple covered in vines. At its center sat a woman wrapped in flowing robes. Her eyes blind, her face ageless. It's the Oracle. You seek answers, she said before Jabari could even speak. He swallowed. Yes. The Oracle tilted her head. Then listen well, lost air. She lifted her hands, and the air around them shimmered. Jabari's past unfolded before him like a tapestry. He saw his parents, his father, the true king of Nyoka, betrayed by his own brother. He saw his mother fleeing with him as an infant, hiding him in Kijiji before she was captured and killed. Tears burned in Jabari's eyes. I had a mother. The Oracle's voice was gentle. She died so you could live. Jabari's fists clenched. And Zuberi stole your throne, the Oracle finished. And he will stop at nothing to destroy you. Jabari gritted his teeth. The truth was clearer than ever. Zuberi had murdered his family, stolen his kingdom, and now it was time to take it back. Jabari's hands trembled as the Oracle's vision faded. His breath came in ragged gasps, his heart pounding like war drums in his chest. His mother had died for him, his father had been betrayed, and his uncle Zuberi sat on his throne. He clenched his fists. Rage burned in his veins, but beneath it, something deeper stirred. A power, a force older than time itself. The Oracle watched him closely, her blind eyes seeing far beyond the present. The blood of kings flows within you, Jabari. But more than that, the blood of Nyoka itself runs in your veins. Jabari frowned. Nyoka, the kingdom? The Oracle shook her head. No, child. The first serpent, the great guardian, the one whose power you have yet to awaken. Jabari stiffened. What do you mean? The Oracle reached out, placing a hand on his forehead. A sudden surge of energy flooded his body, blinding, overwhelming. Images flashed before his eyes. A colossal serpent, its scales like molten gold, coiled around an ancient throne. a crown pulsing with dark power, forged in betrayal, a warrior king, standing against an army, his body wreathed in flames. And then a voice low, ancient and powerful echoed his soul. "You are my heir." Jabari's body convulsed, his vision blurred, a burning sensation ignited beneath his skin. And then darkness. When Jabari awoke, the Oracle and Dia were staring at him. His body felt different, stronger, faster, as if every fiber of his being had been reforged in fire. "What happened?" he rasped. The Oracle smiled faintly. "You have been touched by the old ones." Jabari pushed himself up. His muscles hummed with energy. He felt powerful. And then he saw his reflection in a nearby pool of water. His eyes, they were no longer brown. They glowed gold. Dia let out a low whistle. "Well, cub," she said, "now you really look like a king." Jabari's heart thundered. He didn't just look like one. For the first time, he felt like one. "The power inside you is ancient," the Oracle said, "but it is not yet complete." Jabari frowned. "What do you mean?" "The first serpent the spirit of Nyoka chose your bloodline long ago," the Oracle explained. "But to truly wield its power, you must reclaim what was stolen." Jabari's pulse quickened. "The throne." The Oracle shook her head. "The crown." Jabari stiffened. "The cursed crown of Nyoka. The artifact Zuberi wore on his head. The one whispered about in old legends. The one that had given him unnatural power. The crown holds the serpent's essence," the Oracle continued. "But Zuberi has corrupted it. Until you take it back, you are only half of what you were meant to be." Jabari's jaw clenched. "Then I'll take it from him." The Oracle's expression darkened. "It will not be easy." Jabari's eyes burned with determination. "Nothing ever has to me." Jabari and Dia left the Oracle's temple before dawn. They had no more time to waste. If Jabari was going to challenge Zuberi, he needed an army. But who would fight for a lost heir? "Where do we start?" Jabari asked, as they walked through the jungle. Dia smirked. "I know some people." Jabari raised an eyebrow. "What kind of people?" "The kind who hate Zuberi as much as you do." That night, they arrived at a hidden encampment deep in the jungle. Fires burned in circles, warriors sharpened their weapons, and the sound of battle chants filled the air. The rebels of the Red Sand, a group of outcasts, exiled warriors, and survivors of Zuberi's wrath, and their leader, a man with one eye, a scarred face, and a reputation for slaughter, General Tao. General Tao did not trust Jabari. "You expect me to risk my warriors for a boy who just learned how to hold a blade?" he scoffed. Jabari met his gaze. "I expect you to fight for your people. Or have you grown so used to running?" A dangerous silence filled the air. Warriors shifted uneasily. Then Tao grinned. "I like you, boy," he said. "But words won't win my army." He unsheathed his blade and pointed it at Jabari. "Prove yourself." Jabari exhaled. He had no choice but to fight. He stepped forward, gripping his spear, and the battle for the rebels' loyalty began. A ring of warriors formed around Jabari and General Tao, their voices rising in anticipation. The trial by combat was an old tradition if Jabari wanted the rebels' loyalty. He had to earn it in blood. Tao grinned, twirling his massive battle axe. "Last chance, boy. Walk away and I won't split you in two." Jabari planted his feet, gripping his spear. His golden eyes flashed. "I don't run." Tao lunged first, swinging his axe in a brutal arc. Jabari dodged at the last second, rolling under the attack. He struck out with his spear, but Tao caught it with his bare hand and yanked him forward. Jabari twisted midair, landing on his feet, but Tao was already charging. Jabari had to be faster, smarter. He remembered Dia's training: anticipate, adapt. As Tao swung again, Jabari feinted left, but at the last second, he rolled right and drove the butt of his spear into Tao's ribs. The general staggered. The rebels roared in surprise. Tao turned, wiping blood from his mouth. Then he did something unexpected. He laughed. Well, he said, "maybe you're worth following after all." With the rebels now sworn to him, Jabari prepared for the march on Nyoka. But before they could move, a stranger arrived at their camp. A woman, clad in black, moving like a shadow. Her face was veiled, her blades curved and deadly. The rebels reached for their weapons, but she lifted a hand. "I come in peace," she said. Tom narrowed his eyes. "Who are you?" She removed her veil. Jabari froze. Her eyes, a piercing emerald green, were hauntingly familiar. She looked directly at him. "My name is Yonda," she said, "and I know how to kill Zuberi."